Hello and welcome to the Comeback Mechanics January 2025 Gym Leader Challenge Tournament. My name is Cody Hope, and I'm casting for you this final round match between Matty Mimsberg, who we call Matty Mims, on Single Strike Darkness, and Hector Franco with Electric Spread. The Comeback Mechanics are a competitive team based in Dallas, Texas, and this matchup is from our monthly GLC tournament. We are a grassroots DIY team that's centered around people using their real-life job skills to make some cool stuff to further the team. We do have some very exciting stuff coming in the future, but we can't share that just yet. So make sure to subscribe and then follow us on Blue Sky and X to stay updated. This is not the actual finals match to determine the winner. The real finals was played between myself and Chris, but Chris was playing fighting, I was playing psychic, and that match was not very competitive, so we made an executive decision here to feature the next table down here. So we are going to start over here with Hector. He's starting us off. He is on an electric deck. And this is, for the most part, some of the usual players you would see from Electric Spread. But there are some very, very notable inclusions in here. Notably, we are playing the TM Evolution as well as the TM De-Evolution. And as you can see from the town map, the Gavantula. Very unfortunate that it is prized here. This is a really cool Pokemon in the deck. It is both a lightning and a grass Pokemon. And then it does the really interesting attack of it hits the bench for 30, but you do apply weakness for that. So really, really cool Pokemon there. We see the Buddy Buddy Poffin coming down, and Hector is going to be grabbing both the Mareep as well as the Tynamo, trying to set up those Dynamotor Pokemon early. We also see that the Stormy Mountains is going to come down, allowing him to search his deck for a Lightning Pokemon and put it onto the bench. And lots of options for us here. We see that kind of lines that we're used to seeing here. We see the Zebstrika. There's also the Electivire line, Raichu, all that good stuff. We do see that there's a Zapdos in the deck as well. The Zapdos has the Thunder Wave attack, which paralyzes the opponent, and then it does an attack for 190, but you got to discard all the energy on it. We see that we're going to grab the Electabuzz here. Evolves into that very powerful Electivire with that high voltage current attack. And then we see the Pikachu is going to get grabbed, which evolves into the Raichu, which is kind of that secondary Electabuzz attacker here. This is notably the Pikachu that has the Pika Dash ability, so as long as it has an energy attached, it has no retreat. So it can kind of function as the pivot Pokemon until we get the Raichu set up. Back over to Matty's side here. Not a lot of Pokemon in the opening hand, but we do see that he has the Piers, which is going to be his supporter for turn, allowing him to search his deck for a dark Pokemon as well as any energy card. We see that he is going to use his namesake Matty's Map V-Star marker, where house rule that we have, where the first time you search your deck, you can go ahead and take a peek at those prizes. No notable Pokemon in the prizes, but we do see some notable supporters, most notably the Janine's Secret Art, as well as the Karen's Conviction. But those are supporters that might be fine, because if he can take those prizes at opportune times, it could help him keep his attacking train rolling here. But back on this Piers, he's going to be grabbing a Dark Energy, as well as eyeing up the Purloin here, it looks like. Indeed, the Purloin does evolve into the Liepard, which has that ever so important trade ability, where once per turn you can discard a card to draw 2. The Sneasel is in the active. The Sneasel evolves into the Weavile, which has that evil abomination attack, which does 50 for each ability on the opponent's side of the field. And we already see that there are 3 abilities on the opponent's side. So if Matty can get an early Weavile set up, which we do see he has the Evolution Incense, we could see some early knockouts here. We are going to see the attachment to the Sneasel, and I do believe the Sneasel has the sneaky attack, where if you go second, and it is your first turn, which is what's happening here, you can discard an energy from one of your opponent's Pokemon. Unfortunately, that is not what we're going to do, because there's no energy in play, so I think we're just going to see that ambush for 10. All right, we are using the Morpeko here to try to discard a card from the top of the deck. It is a quick ball, and it looks like Hector is going to leave it and then go for the Stormy Mountains to search the deck for a Pokemon. So not a card Hector wanted to draw, but not one that he wants in the discard pile either. Makes a lot of sense. There are a lot of kind of not single price, some basic attackers in the deck that he would want to set up. And we see he's going for another unique inclusion to this deck. It's the Emolga. The Emolga has an attack for 1 energy that does 10 damage and then 10 damage to each benched Pokemon. Notably, that is both players. So it's going to spread a bunch of damage into play here. We are going to see an evolution into the Flaffy here. Has that Dynamotor ability where once per turn we can accelerate a lightning energy from the discard to one of the benched Pokemon. But we're not going to do that here. Just going to pass it back over to Matty. Matty did find the Level Ball as the draw for turn very, very nice in getting some more Pokemon set up. Matty definitely wants to fill up his bench pretty quickly here. Very, very beautiful Dark Energy getting grabbed off of the Professor's Letter. And then we are indeed going to see the Evolution Incense coming down. I imagine it just has to be that Weavile, but could grab the Liepard to go ahead and get our draw engine set up. And that is what we're going to see. We're going to see the Liepard here. I do believe, if I am not mistaken, that the Weavile has under 100 HP. It does. The Weavile has 90, so he will actually be able to grab the Weavile off of the Level Ball. So really, really making the best use of the search cards here. Very, very smart sequencing from Matty. And if the Liepard is able to draw into the Weavile, he can save that Level Ball for a different Pokemon. Going to draw 2 off of the Liepard here, and we do see that the Zeruya was found, and that of course evolves into the Zoroark. And notably here, Matty is choosing to play the Zoroark with the Phantom Transformation ability, where you can discard it to swap it out for another Stage 1 Pokemon. Notably, this is another way to get the Single Strike Urshifu into play, as it is a Stage 1. We do see that the Level Ball is going to grab the Weavile here, and that evil Abomination should be able to take a knockout here. And wow, we're going to see a big Lux Cape coming down onto the Weavile. So big 190 HP, probably not going to get knocked out here anytime soon from this electric deck, and Matty's going to take an early lead in the game. Unfortunately, back on Hector's side, that does allow him to play the teammates, allowing him to search his deck for any 2 cards and put it into his hand. Unfortunately, based on the angle of the deck, I don't get to really see what those 2 cards are here. But we do see in the hand there is a Level Ball. Hoping to figure out what these 2 cards are here momentarily. But lots of options for Hector here. He could go for another Evolution. Could maybe go for the other Dynamotor. Could go for the evolutions with the Raichu or the Electivire. And that's what I would imagine. Could even maybe grab something like a Timer Ball if we wanted to be a little greedy here and hoping that we could flip some tails here. Instead, it looks like we are going to be getting, the Electric as well as a Battle Compressor here. Battle Compressor is one of my favorite cards in Gym Leader Challenge, allowing you to discard any 3 cards from your deck. For the Electric deck, we're probably just going to be discarding some Lightning Energy. If that Battle VIP Pass was still in the deck, that would have been a great discard as well. And what we could see is a discard of a supporter card, because there is a Versus Seeker in the deck. So that could be a kind of a pseudo tutor for any supporter card. Just a lot of flexibility with the Battle Compressor, right? Really allowing him to kind of charge up the discard pile for both Dynamotors. Because really discarding a 3rd energy doesn't feel too bad here, right? Because we can put 2 into play this turn with Dynamotor and 2 into play the next turn with Dynamotor. Really feels nice here. We see that he's eyeing up the Zapdos, so we could see something like dumping a Pokemon and then using something like a Rescue Stretcher or a Night Stretcher to put it back into the hand here. So again, a lot of flexibility here. Because we play Recursion, really anything is fine, and that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to see the... Oh, nope, no, still choosing here. But thinking about doing the Electivire. No, we're going to go for the Raichu. So yeah, it seems like that could be the plan here, is to just go ahead and kind of tutor up that Raichu so it's in the discard pile, and then we don't have to find as many things to find it later. We see that the Tapu Koko is being put on the bench. Notably, this is a proxy. We do allow unlimited proxies within our events. Again, we do this mostly for the love of the game. No need to do that if you don't want to. So this is notably the Tapu Koko that has the Flying Flip attack, which does 20 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. That is not I believe that's the Prism Star Tapu Koko that we're proxying right now. Very, very cute. We're going to see a Dynamotor, double Dynamotor over to the Tapu Koko. We're going to see it promoted, and then it looks like we're going to do that Flying Flip attack, putting 20 on each Pokemon into play, or each Pokemon on Matty's side of the field. And things are looking pretty good for Hector here. Hector has a full board set up, got his energy recursion online, got plenty of attackers starting to get set up. And now that 20 damage is in play, that Raichu is indeed online here. We are going to see trade, discarding Karen's Conviction to draw 2. Unfortunately, just finding a Darkness Energy as well. Okay, and then we're going to do the Versus Seeker real quick to get Piers, allowing him to search his deck for again, Darkness Energy a Dark Pokemon and an Energy card. We see that the other card off of the trade was that Welcoming Lantern. Welcoming Lantern's a really fun card here. It kind of functions as a Versus Seeker, but only for single strike supporter cards. So that's a way to reuse some of these key supporters, something like a Karen's Conviction multiple times, or something like a single strike style Mustard. Off of the Piers, it's looking like we're eyeing up the single strike Evital. Evital, very, very good attacker in the deck. No, just going to go for that Zoroark. We are going to get that Zoroark into play. And that is a very, very good one. Again, has that Phantom Transformation ability where Maddie can swap it out with any Stage 1 Pokemon. I don't believe he has any in the discard pile currently, but with the Liepard, it'll be very easy to get one into play. Seems like the Weavile is going to be doing a big 100 damage here. That is notably not enough to knock out the Tapu Koko. Tapu Koko has 110, so we are just coming up just a little bit short here. See the Muscle Band coming down onto the Tapu Koko, and then a big Professor's Research to draw a clean 7 cards. We see that Evo Soda is going to be played, allowing Hector to evolve one of his Pokemon. And we are going for the Electivire. So again, we have all of these spread cards set up and ready to go. Just taking a peek over here, it seems like we got the Professor's Letter to search 2 more energies from the deck here. And just getting 1 this time, though. Just getting the 1. Quick shuffle up here. And yeah, things are looking really good for Hector. He kind of has all the things he needs. The Raichu is very close to being set up. With the Dynamotor, we can definitely go for that Collateral Bolts to start putting 50 damage onto each Pokemon with the damage counter on it. Notably, that does include our own Tapu Koko. So got to be a little bit careful for that as well. Going to see a retreat here. Notably, that Tapu Koko does have free retreat, and so we're able to go into the Raichu, and big 50 to each Pokemon into play. So a lot of damage getting put into play here. So, yep, and then bang, we have noticed that the Tapu Koko is going to get knocked out as well. So not only does this attack give Maddie a prize card, but it is setting up quite a bit of damage in play. And notably, something like a TM Devolution would be kind of brutal here. 70 damage is enough to knock out both the Sneasel, as well as the Zeruya, as well as the Purloin. So there is a world where a Devo takes a huge 3 prize cards here. We see the Spiritomb is going to come down here, which has that Building Spite ability, where once per turn you can put a damage counter on it, but then it does 30 damage for each damage counter on it. So that is quite a bit here. We're going to see a trade of the Roseanne's backup, and we're going to get that Quick Ball as well as an Ultra Ball. So very, very fortuitous for Maddie, able to get his board set up here. Lots of options for him. Unfortunately, he has been unable to get some of the key single strike Pokemon set up, which is kind of the namesake of the deck here. He wants to play the Quick Ball, but he doesn't know what to discard. There's just a lot of really solid cards here. It's looking like he's eyeing up that Welcoming Lantern. Wouldn't be the biggest loss. He still has a Versus Seeker that he could use here. Well, he has already used the Versus Seeker, actually. So if he gets rid of this Welcoming Lantern, those single strike supporters will not be able to be recurred for the rest of the game. So a little unfortunate there, but you know, you got to do what you got to do to get your board set up sometimes. Those other cards just seemed a little too important. And it looks like Maddie's eyeing up that Galarian Moltres. That Galarian Moltres, very, very powerful, has that Malevolent Charge ability where when it is put from the hand onto the bench, you can attach 2 dark energy from your hand to this Pokemon. That explains why we were really stressing over the Quick Ball here, because there are 2 dark energies in Maddie's hand, so if he does discard one of those to the Quick Ball, then this Moltres becomes very, very less effective here. But now, big 2 energy gets to come down. And we're just going to see the Weavile attacking again, doing a big 100 damage to the Raichu. Now, normally this wouldn't be too big of a deal, but if we want to use that Collateral Bolt attack, I do believe the Raichu itself will be getting knocked out as well. So, it definitely seems like, 50 damage to each Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So, notably, the Raichu would knock out itself. Not great for Hector here. Really, putting the screws on Maddie, but also giving him lots of prizes, so he's able to kind of stay caught up in the game, even though he hasn't taken a knockout by attacking the last couple of turns. Back over here on Hector's side, we're taking a peek through our deck with the Stormy Mountains, I believe. And I think we're just going to fail it. No Pokemon we want to put down onto the bench here. Notably, that Zebstrika is prized, so we won't be able to make use of the Sprint ability, one of the best abilities I think the electric deck has access to. We do see that there's an Arven in the hand. We could be using the Arven maybe to try to go for a TM Devo play here if Devo, if that's what we're thinking here. We would have to retreat the Raichu, but that shouldn't be too big of an issue. We do have double Dynamotor here. Ooh, Great Ball is going to be the play here. Great Ball, very, very fun card. Let you look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Put a Pokemon you find there into your hand. And we are going to see the Zapdos is going to be put into the hand here. Really, really nice card. You can get it off of the Ball Guy. Is one that lets you kind of find either basics or evolutions. And especially if you do a good job of thinning out your deck, should be able to hit something that you like along the way. We do see that Arven is going to be the play here, allowing him to pull some cards Arv out of the deck. And I would not be surprised to see that TM Devo be the grab here. And I wonder if Maddie was not aware of the TM Devo, as that is normally not a card that we see within the electric spread deck. Some do, but it seems to have fallen out of vogue recently. But no, we're just going to see the Field Blower as well as the Float Stone. So Field Blower does get rid of that Lux Cape. So that does put the Weavile in knockout range for the Raichu. Because really, we could just attack with the Raichu, you know, and then take those same knockouts here. And we are going to see the retreat. Maybe the Devo is already in the hand. I didn't quite see it there. But we're going to see Dynamotor probably back. Oh no, over onto the Electivire here. And then, yeah, the Devo is already in the hand here. So Devo is going to take a huge 3 knockouts here, knocking out the Sneasel, knocking out the Zoroark, and knocking out the Purloin. So not only does that give Hector a big 3 prizes, and he gets to pick the prizes he wants. We're seeing Trainer's Mail and the Zebstrika being grabbed here, but that also means that Maddie's hand is now full of a bunch of Pokemon that don't do anything, right? They're all in the discard pile. And so definitely clogging up his hand a little bit there. Good news is it does give him more fuel for his Ultra Ball. Thinking about who he's going to promote here, notably Maddie has not put damage on the Spiritomb yet, because then that Collateral Bolts would have knocked out the Spiritomb. So unfortunately, Spiritomb's not getting to do kind of what it's in the deck to do this game. We are going to see Ordinary Rod here being played, allowing Maddie to put 2 Pokemon and 2 energy from his discard pile back into his deck. So some great recursion considering he just had a bunch of stuff knocked out, right? And good news, he already has the evolution in his hand, so something like a Buddy Buddy Poffin would be really, really nice in getting the rest of the board set up here. Going to see those 4 get put back into the deck. Could see Raihan be the play here. That seems like a very, very great card here. Is going to accelerate in energy onto that Galarian Moltres, which will allow Maddie to take a knockout here. And then could be searching up a item card. Yep, imagine the Buddy Buddy Poffin was going to be the grab here. That makes a lot of sense to me, right? We got to build this board back up. We got to start getting some attackers and support Pokemon set up. And it looks like, yep, just going to get the same 2, Purloin and Zeruya there. And we know the evolutions are already in the hand. So unless Hector can play something like an Iono or a Marnie here, we will just be able to rebuild this board on the next turn. We're going to see the U-turn board coming down onto the Purloin. That's just going to get to be the pivot here. And we're getting awfully close to seeing this Fiery Wrath attack. Does 20 damage plus 50 for each prize card the opponent has taken, which notably is 3, so does definitely enough to knock out this Emolga here. We see that the Electric is being put into the active spot. Notably, that Electric does have 2 retreat, so I am expecting something like a Guzma coming down here to switch those out. Or maybe there's an Escape Rope or something similar in the future. Could also have the Float Stone or something similar, right? We did see the Float Stone was grabbed off of the Arvin on the last turn. Zapdos is getting benched here, and we are going to do the Stormy Mountains, putting that Blitzel on the bench. Notably, we know the Zebstrika is in the hand off of the prizes. So next turn, Zebstrika could be coming down. Very, very powerful sprint ability. Discard your hand, draw 4. So you never quite are stuck with the Zebstrika. You always have some options available to you. I would imagine here we're probably going to see an attack from the Electivire, 50 on all of the opponent's Pokemon. Definitely don't want to attack with the Raichu here because that will just knock out the Raichu. So don't want to put Matty down to 2 prizes. That is going to get him very, very close to winning the game here. Ooh, we're going to see a bump of the Stormy Mountains into the Rough Seas. Rough Seas is a very, very interesting stadium card in this deck. It allows each player once per turn to heal 30 damage from each water and or lightning Pokemon here. So notably, that will allow the Raichu to get healed up just a little bit so it won't get knocked out from its own Collateral Bolts attack here. So very, very nice use here. So now the Raichu can indeed be used again on a future turn. And I think kind of questions about the Spiritomb here. Definitely Matty is playing around the high voltage current and the Collateral Bolt attack. Does not want this Spiritomb to get knocked out. Notably though, it is kind of stopping Hector from using the Electivire because the second he uses high voltage current to put 5 damage on the Spiritomb, the Spiritomb will be able to hit for 160, which knocks out the Electivire right back. So it looks like we're going to see a double Dynamotor onto the Raichu. Going to see that retreat with the Float Stone, and probably just going to see that Collateral Bolts. Ooh, we're going to see in first. Both players are going to shuffle the hand into the deck and then draw for remaining prize cards. Notably, both players have 3 prizes remaining. Things are tied up, but we have seen how the Electric Spread deck is able just to take 1,000,000 prize cards in one turn. Drawn fresh 3, we see Ultra Ball, the Houndoom, and the Single Strike Energy for Matty. Over on Hector's side, I believe that is a Trainer's Mail. Yeah, allowing us to look at the top 4 cards of our deck, put a Trainer card into the hand. And notably, I think that is, I see an Iono, Ultra Ball. We're going to see, that is the Volkner. Very beautiful promo Volkner here. Allowing Hector to search his deck for an electric Pokemon as well as an item, or no, an electric energy, my apologies, and an item card. Definitely love the type-specific trainer cards. I think those are really, really fun in Volkner. An interesting one for the Lightning deck is one that lets you tutor an energy and any item. So it's kind of like this weird mix between like a Piers and like an Irida or something, right? All right, we see the Timer Ball from Matty. One of my favorite cards in Gym Leader Challenge. Allows you to roll 2 dice. So if you get tired of playing Pokemon, can roll some dice. And sometimes you even get to search for an evolution when you do that. We see that Matty gets to use our very beautiful custom Comeback Mechanics dice here. A very fun inclusion that we have. Definitely blessed with all the fun stuff that we have. We get to see the fun playmats. We get to see the fun dice as well. And we see that the Liepard is going to get grabbed off of the Timer Ball here. That in from Hector definitely did disrupt Matty because Matty had the evolutions to both the Purloin and the Zeruya in his hand. Now those were stuck at the bottom. Timer Ball allowing him to get the Liepard, shuffle the deck, and then trade to draw some more cards. So good news for Matty there. He could definitely draw out of it. The Ultra Ball is also going to be super helpful as well. I imagine the trade would get rid of maybe the Ultra Ball or probably the Houndoom, I would imagine, to draw 2, giving us access to that Ultra Ball for something else. And yeah, yep, looks like the Houndoom. Not going to do us any favors here, especially considering the Zeruya is all, or the single strike energy is already in the hand. And we did draw back into the Zoroark, so that's very nice. Got to do the thing that we wanted, which was evolve all of our Pokemon back up. Bang, putting that down there. And then thinking about what we want to Ultra Ball here. We have 2 energies, so it's like, do we want to get rid of these energies? Do we just want to save them for another turn? The problem with building Spite here is, yes, that would do 40 damage, but that is not enough to knock out the Pikachu, and then does put enough damage on it for a Collateral Bolts or a High Voltage Current to knock it out. So we're really put in a tough spot here. We are going to do it. We are going to build the Spite. We are going to attach and retreat, and we are going to put a big 40 damage onto the Raichu. Notably, this does make it where a Collateral Bolts knocks out the Raichu again, but with the Rough Seas, 30 damage just gets to get healed off of it anyway. But I do suppose that is 80 plus 50 is that 130, so I guess still stopping that Collateral Bolts, even if Hector uses the Rough Seas here. Volkner is going to get the Speed Lightning Energy. I don't think you can do that. I do believe it has to be a basic Lightning Energy, I do believe. Evo Incense is going to be the item here, and we're just going to play the Evo Incense for Zebstrika, opting out of grabbing a Lightning Energy since it cannot be that Speed Lightning. Kind of interesting, the Volkner doesn't specify that it has to be a basic Lightning Energy, but notably a lot of those special energy cards don't provide that energy type unless they are attached to a Pokemon. So believe that is the ruling there. And then we are just going to see big Collateral Bolts here. Oh no, I think we actually saw Electric Ball from the Raichu for knockout here, just doing 120 to the active. Why not, right? The Collateral Bolts would only be knocking out the Spiritomb, and then would also be knocking out the Raichu. So yeah, very, very smart from Hector, putting an extra energy into play just so we can take a knockout with the Raichu there. And notably, Maddie is at 2 prizes. Hector is at 1. And we do see that with the Float Stone, even if Maddie takes a knockout here on the Raikou, the Electric can go up to be the pivot, and then we can Dynamotor onto the Electivire and then come back down and get an attack. So that's not looking great for him. However, though, currently that doesn't take a knockout, but we could see maybe the Zapdos here. We do know that the Zapdos hits for quite a bit of damage. I believe it hits for, let me double check, 190 here, and it already has an energy on it. So double Dynamotor onto the Zapdos knocks out pretty much anything in play. The Ultra Ball is going to be used here. We're grabbing that Single Strike Urshifu here, showing off that normally you're trying to use the Single Strike Mustard to put it into play here. Very, very excellent combo here. And notably, Maddie would have 0 cards in hand after this, but does not have that Single Strike Mustard in his hand. But good news is we can trade away the Urshifu, draw 2, and then we can swap it out here with the Zoroark. Now, unfortunately, there are no energy cards in Maddie's hand, so unfortunately, we are kind of seeing Maddie kind of run out of gas here at the end of the game. That down to 3 really hurt him there. But anything could happen here. Maybe we find a good supporter. Dark Patch. Dark Patch is very nice here. And attach for turn to the Urshifu plus a Dark Patch does indeed allow us to attack here. Very cool. We will get to use the Field Crush attack of the Urshifu, which does 50 damage and discards the stadium, getting rid of that Rough Seas. So we do get to see the kind of the game plan happen here. The Urshifu takes a big knockout, but unfortunately, we are going to get to see kind of what we thought. Promotion of the Electric, and then double Dynamotor onto that Zapdos, and we're going to be seeing a big knockout for game here. So this one, very, very close. But we got to see the power of having double Dynamotor set up here. Just allowed Hector to attack with anything he wanted, whenever he wanted to, and Hector is going to finish out the game there. So, very, very great game, and a very much more interesting than the other game that we could have featured, right? So, glad that got to happen. And that's going to do it for our January 2025 tournament. I really hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video if you did. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for our February GLC tournament coming up very, very soon. Don't forget to like us on our social media on both X and Blue Sky to stay updated with the things that we're up to. And with that, my name is Cody Hope, and I'll be signing out.